hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Plus. So today I'm here with a gingerbread painting. Alright, so if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, please give a big thumbs up. Alright, so I'm gonna go with all the material I'm gonna use, but I like to mention this is you don't have to use what I'm using. You can just use any material you have. So I'm gonna use acrylic paint today on the canvas. If you don't have acrylic paint, you can just use a watercolor on a watercolor paper, and just follow me step by step. Alright, so I'm gonna use acrylic paint today, and these are the colors I'm gonna use. Red, just a basic red. Blue, you can take the picture of this color if you like. Black, I'm also going to use this kind of dark yellow. Green, white, and I also have a dark blue which I'm not going to use. I'll show you a trick how to make a darker color, darker blue. Alright, and I'm also going to use these 3 brushes today, and I'm using these brushes today. Again, you don't have to use the same brushes I have. It depends on the size of surface you are painting. I'm painting on 8 by 10 size of canvas. You can paint on a larger surface or maybe smaller than this. It's up to you. And I'm going to use these brushes. This is number 6 size. It's a round brush. This is flat brush. It's number 10 size. And this one is number 1 size. Alright, so let's start. Alright, I'm just gonna take my plastic out first. Again, you don't have to paint on a canvas, but if you have a canvas, you can also just paint on it. You can paint on larger canvas if you like. If you are doing a paint party, you can again use larger canvas. Why not, right? Alright, so I'm gonna use this large round brush I have, and make sure you have a water cup. Alright, so here's the plan. Here's what I like to do. I'm gonna take my big brush first, the biggest brush I have, and then I'm just gonna apply the water everywhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just gonna help you to apply your paint and blend your paint so much easily and quickly. So I always like to do this part, so don't skip this part. If you are also painting on a canvas, if you are painting on a watercolor paper, do not do this. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but I'm not applying this like water everywhere, just like randomly. It's covered. Alright, I'm done with the big brush. Now I can use my round brush. Alright, so now here's my plan. I'm gonna add a big gingerbread here and a nice snowy background. Alright, so I'm gonna add, so you can use your palm as a guide. So let's say I'm gonna use my palm here, and I'm gonna cover all of this area with the gingerbread. I wanna keep the top couple inch from top of my canvas, and maybe couple inch space from bottom of my canvas. So if you are maybe painting on a smaller surface, you can just leave maybe couple of inches from the top and couple of inches from the bottom. If you are painting on a bigger canvas, you can just leave more space if you like. Alright, so watch me first, you're gonna get more idea. Alright, so I'm gonna use this darker yellow. You can also mix your brown and white and a little bit of yellow if you don't have this color. But you can just use maybe, a yellow here first, and then use some more brown on the edges. Alright, so now here's my plan. I'm gonna add a nice big round for the head right here. So again, this is how much I'm gonna cover. Let's say I'm gonna add this big of round for the face. The whole body is gonna be large. Alright, so I'm gonna try to keep it in the center here. So let's say something like this. And I think this is too small, so start with the small. You can always make it bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna make it slightly more bigger. Okay, and as you apply this shape, just fit it in. Okay, I'm gonna make slightly more bigger. So as I said before, try to make it smaller as possible, but don't forget to leave space on the top. So if you are planning to make it bigger, just work from side to bottom. I'm not gonna go higher on the top. Okay, I think I like this. That's all I'm gonna do. Alright, now I'm gonna work on the body part. And let's say I'm gonna add a line coming from here, coming all the way down to here. This is gonna be the feet. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add a little like a curve line here, and then I'm just gonna connect that right there. Okay, and same thing on the other side. Again, make it a little bit like smaller. You can always make it bigger if you like. Now this is acrylic paint that I'm using. If you don't like any of this part, just let it dry completely and just apply any paint you like on the top. Okay, now I'm gonna add the arms and everything is gonna come together. Okay, so trust the process. I like to say that. So trust the process. I'm gonna make the head a little bit more bigger because I feel like it's still too small for the gingerbread I'm going for. Okay, that's better. Alright, now I'm gonna add the arm. Okay, and I'm just gonna add like a little curve down here. Same thing on the other side. Now I can never make both of the sides same, so you don't have to make both of the sides same. There is nothing perfect. So as you can see, one is bigger, one is smaller, which is okay, completely fine. Okay, now I'm just gonna fill everything in. Now if you like to use a bigger brush for this, you can. And if you are using acrylic paint, let's say, make sure you clean this brush before you take your other brush, because it's gonna get dry and you won't be able to use your brush again. Alright, so make sure you clean it, put it aside, and then I'm gonna use my big brush. Now I'm making this video not only for kids, it's also for adults. So if you also want to paint this, you can also paint this. Alright, so I'm just gonna use my big brush and I'm just gonna fill it all in. Now you can go back, and if you like to change the shape or fix the shape, you can do that. And I'm gonna use my smaller brush again for that. Now I might be painting a little bit faster than you, but you can always pause the video and just start again whenever you are done. Alright, so let me fix this one. I want to fix this side a little bit. I want to add a little more curve on this side here. and a little bit more wider leg here. Okay, because I really wanted to match it with the arm. And I think this is perfect. All right, now I'm gonna let this dry and I'm gonna work on the background now. All right, so now for the background, you can definitely use your smaller brush if you like. I'm gonna use my flat brush. I'm gonna use this 10 size. But again, if you want to use a different size of flat brush, you can also use that. All right, so first I'm gonna use blue. And I'm gonna start from bottom to up. Yes, I'm gonna start from bottom to up. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply this paint from the side. And I'm slowly doing the edges as I go. Now if you're painting on a canvas, you can also paint the edges. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna come all the way down. Now this part is gonna take a lot of time, so you don't have to rush again. Take your time. Alright, so now here's I'm all done. Now if you are still doing your work, take your time, pause the video. I'm almost done, and now let me show you how I add some dark blue on the top. Now make sure this top of this area is still wet when you are doing this. If it's dry, go back with some more blue one more time, because you want this area nice and wet still when you apply the next color here to make it darker. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let me show you this quickly before this dry. So I'm only gonna take like tiny little black on one side of my brush, and I'm just gonna add some dots like this, and I'm gonna blend that with the blue. Okay, now start with the very less black here. You can always make it darker if you like. So again, go back, take a little bit more paint, add some dots, and blend. Okay, I'm only working on the top of my canvas because that's all I wanted to make it darker. Okay, I'm just gonna take more black. I'm gonna go very slowly again. Okay, and then again, move your brush like this. You can do like axis like that to blend your colors. And I'm doing this very quickly because again, I don't want my paint to dry, so you don't have to rush, but just maybe a little quicker before your paints dry. Okay, now do you see how darker that looks? All right, I'm gonna also do the same thing, just maybe a little bit on the edges like this. Okay, just on the edges. And I'm gonna go like 1 or 2 times. If you feel like it's still not dark, you want to make it more darker, you can go one more time. But I think I took enough black and I think I have to just go once. Okay, I think I like that. I'm gonna go one more time, just on the top, one more time, especially on the corner. Okay, okay, perfect. I love this. Okay, now randomly you can also go on the some of the area to make some of the area more darker, but this is optional. If you feel like this is enough, it's perfect. You don't have to go over anything. All right, now I'm gonna clean my brush and I'm gonna work on snow. All right, so make sure you clean your brush and dry your brush. You don't want to take too much water for this next part. Now if you're using watercolor and you don't have the white, you can just use acrylic paint on top or tempera paint if you have. Or I made some video on how to lighten the area. You just have to use a tissue paper, wet that a little bit and go over that area, and it's gonna remove the paint from there. You can also do that. Alright, so let me add some snow. Alright, so now I'm still using my flat brush. You can use different brush again if you like. Okay, now I want to add the snow right here. So something like this. I'm just gonna add some lines. Okay, I don't want to go over my gingerbread. Okay, so something like this. Alright, maybe I want to go a little more higher, but I don't want any straight line, so I'm gonna do something like this. Okay. Okay. Alright, I'm also gonna just add more snow down here. I don't want to completely fill the whole area with the white, so this is what I'm doing. I'm using like flat brush and brushing it like this. So not like this, but like this, using a flat brush, and that's gonna look so much better and it will be so much easier for you. Okay, so something like this. Okay, I'm mostly gonna cover the edges with the white. Now just in case if you feel like you applied too much white, you can always go back with some more blue on top. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna cover the bottom also. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. Now again, if you feel like you applied too much of white, you can again just go back with some more blue and just add that and just blend it in like this. Okay, so again, there is nothing right or wrong when you are using acrylic paint. I love using acrylic paint. It's so much easier and so much fun. You can never go wrong with that. If you feel like you like to do the second layer on your gingerbread, this is the good time. I think I don't need it. I am gonna skip that, but if you like to do the second layer, you can also do that. Alright, so now I'm gonna start with the eyes. So I'm gonna take my white paint and I'm just gonna add like little circles for the eyes. Now, if you like to let everything dry here, let it dry. You can take a break here, maybe for like 10-15 minutes. You can come back and then add some detailing here. So this is a good time if you like to take a break. If you are doing a paint party, this is a good time for the break. Alright, so now I'm gonna add the eyes. So let's say I want to leave some space for the head. So I'm gonna add a little circle right here. Again, always make your circle smaller. You can always make it bigger if you like. Okay, and I'm gonna add a nice big smile. Okay. Okay, now I'm also gonna add like a little circle next on the edge of the smile here. So something like this. I'm just gonna add like a little circle there and right there. Alright, I'm also gonna add some little wavy line, curvy line, whatever you wanna call, right here. Okay, I'm gonna go back one more time because I want this line a little bit more thicker. Okay, I'm just gonna make it a little bit more thicker. Now my brown paint on the background, dark yellow paint, it's still wet. So that's why you have to go back and forth like couple times. But if you are doing this on a dry paint, you don't have to do this. You just have to go like once and you're done. Perfect. Alright, I'm also going to do the same thing on the bottom, and as you can see, when you're painting with the acrylic paint, you're always going to paint yourself. Alright, so let me do the same thing right here. Okay, I'm gonna add like one more line. I'm just gonna leave a little space and then one more line. Now I'm gonna add the buttons, and I'm just gonna use white for now. So let's see, I'm gonna add like nice big circle. I'm just gonna add like 3. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna make slightly darker brown now. Okay, so let me show you how I do that. So I'm just gonna take like a little bit of this darker yellow, or if you have a brown, you can also again use a brown, and tiny little black, not too much, like as you can see, like teeny tiny little black. Okay, I'm just gonna mix that all. Now it's slightly darker than what I have here. So you don't need a lot of paint, you just need like a little bit of this paint. Did you see how much black I took? And it's already dark, so I'm gonna have to take some more of this color. Okay, mix. Okay. Alright, so we just need like slightly darker shade than what we have here. It doesn't have to be same color that I have here. Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do. I have a light coming from the top to bottom. So I'm gonna add all the shadows on the bottom left side. So you can start with the leg here first. So I'm just gonna add like a little line. You can again watch me first. You're gonna get more idea what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just gonna add like a line. Okay, if it's not looking darker, just add more black. Just tiny little black again. Okay. Okay, I'm not too worried about the top. I'm gonna add a hat there. Okay, this is all I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna clean my brush and I'm gonna add a hat. Alright, so everything on this head area is nice and dry, so I can add my hat. So I'm gonna start with the white. Okay, again you can just watch me first if you like to get more idea what I'm doing here. And I don't want to add any straight lines, so this is what I'm doing. Okay, make sure you don't have any like a lot of water on your brush for this part. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna use white for now to do the whole hat, and then I'll use the red later because my background is dark blue. If I use red right now, it's not gonna look as bright red as it's gonna look when I add the white and then red. So that's why I'm using white for now. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna add like a little pom-pom on this side. This is gonna be a pom-pom. And then this is the hat. Coming all the way to the top to the head. Okay, and then I'm just gonna fill everything in. Doesn't have to be too perfect. Just fill this area with the white. Okay, and again, trust the process. You have to use white here. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry before I add red there. So let me clean my brush. Alright, I'm also gonna add like a candy cane here. So let me also do that. So I'm just gonna use white for now for the candy cane. And you can just make it bigger, smaller. It's up to you. You can just overlap your gingerbread if you like. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna add like a line coming from down here to up. Okay, I'm gonna make this a little bit more thicker. Okay. So the paint I have, the white paint I have is slightly little thin, so I have to go like couple times at least on this area. But if your paint is thicker, you just have to go one time. Now I'm gonna add some ornaments. So I'm gonna add some ornaments on the top, and I'm gonna use some green. So I'm gonna take some green, and I'm just gonna add like a nice circle like this. You can make it again bigger, smaller, it's up to you. Mine is not too big, but do you see how the green looks like here? You're not able to see that clearly, so that's why I always like to use the white. So let me show you. I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm just gonna take some white, and I'm gonna add the white ornaments first. Okay, I'm also gonna add like one more right here. Okay, I also want to add some ornaments here. Now I'm not too worried about adding white on the white area here, because it's obviously gonna see, like if you add the green or the red. I'm gonna go back on this part and add the white first. Okay, now I'm gonna let everything dry. Alright, now I'm gonna add a bow. I really want to add a bow right here, so here's how I'm gonna add. I'm just gonna use red color for the bow, and on this big button I have, I'm just gonna just add a red there. It might turn kind of pinkish because my white is still wet. Alright, and then I'm just gonna add a big bow. You can make it bigger, smaller, it's up to you. Okay, something like this. And I'm also gonna add the ribbon on the bottom. Alright, so you can also go back one more time if you want to make it more darker. You can also add a little touch of white, because I have some white here. Okay, so let me clean my brush, and I'm gonna show you how I add white. So I'm gonna just clean my brush, and then just add a white line like this, and also a line on the top like that. Okay, and then also a line on this ribbon. Alright, okay, I'm gonna clean my brush. I'm just gonna go back one more time to make this line slightly a little bit lighter, because it's too white. Okay, alright, so now I'm gonna go back on my head, and I'm just gonna add some white. Alright, so now this is all the red area. right, so I'm just gonna go back and just make it slightly more darker. Again, you can use a different color if you like. I'm just using red. All right, and I'm just gonna use more white on the pom-pom on this area here because I see a lot of blue there. Okay, there you go, so cute. All right, now I'm gonna go back on this gingerbread and add some red there too. All right, I'm also gonna add the red on these ornaments. Now my red, I'm gonna use flat brush. Oopsie. I'm also gonna make this one red. You can again use your round brush. Right now I'm just using a flat brush. Now when you again change your brush, make sure you clean it or just leave it in your water cup. Okay, I'm also gonna just add some more red ornaments down here. Okay, now I'm also gonna add like some down here. Again, you can use different color. You don't have to just use red. I'm using a lot of red here today. Okay, I'm also gonna add some green now on this one first. All right, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna just clean my brush again and add like a little snow on this ornament. So like just a little snow sitting on the ornaments. Okay. All right, I'm also gonna add a string. I'm gonna use a black for that, and I'm gonna use my smallest brush So I'm going to use my one size brush and just a little black on tip of my brush. You can turn your canvas. Just adding a line on the top, like that. You can also make a line, like a bigger ornaments down here. The line is gonna come all the way to the top there. If you like to do that. All right, now I'm gonna add a whole bunch of snow on this painting, and I'm just gonna use white and add the snows everywhere. You can also add some splatters if you like. It's gonna get a little messier, so think about it. You can also do this outside if you have a good weather there. It's snowing outside here, so okay, now some of the dots are bigger, some of them are like tiny little dots. Okay. Okay, I like to again add a whole bunch of small little dots too. Don't forget the gingerbread. The snow is also falling on the bread too. Now I'm gonna try to make it smaller. Dots on the face here. Don't forget this little area down here. Okay, just like tiny little dot also on the face. Okay, and also don't forget the hat. So cute. Okay, I really want to add like some glow on this painting, so let me show you how I do that. Okay, so I'm gonna just pick a spot. Let me clean my brush. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick a spot and then I'm just gonna apply the green, or you can use any color. So let's say I'm gonna use green right here. And actually, you know what? You're not able to see the green on this blue. So here's what I have to do instead. Okay, I clean my brush again. And I'm just gonna add some white first. So let's say I wanna add the glue right here. So I'm gonna add a white. And then I'm gonna add a little green on top of that. Just a tiny little green. And then I'm gonna use my finger to kind of smudge that. And I'm gonna clean that once, and then I'm gonna go back and just make that slightly more bigger. Okay, so something like this. I'm gonna make it slightly smaller this time. So something like this. Okay, a small dot. Okay, I'm also going to do the same thing with the red. So like tiny little white. Okay, I already have the white there, so I'm just going to add like tiny little red. you can do the same thing with white. Okay, I'm also going to do the same thing with the white. I want to do the red. I'm sorry, white right here. All right, so I'm gonna do one more thing. One last thing is I want to add some snow under this ornament. So something like this, I'm just gonna cover the bottom of the ornaments with some more white, so it looks like there is big chunk of snow sitting right there. Okay, so something like this. Okay, you can also do the same thing, the same glow with this color here. So I'm also gonna do the same thing because I really like that glow kind of looking. It's okay. I'm just gonna take like a little dot of that color. I don't know, go too crazy, but just on some areas. I'm gonna make the buttons blue. You can use any color you like for the buttons. Now I'm just gonna go over this one time. I'm gonna leave like a little white space there. Okay, perfect. Again, you can use different colors for any of this part. You don't have to use that same color that I use for this, but here I'm all done with this painting. I hope you guys all have fun painting with me, and if you like to share your painting with me, I love to see it. And don't forget to like this video if you enjoy watching this, and if you have any question about the material I use, or if you have any question, please let me know in the comment, and I'm gonna paint some more painting for the holidays. So if you guys want to do more paint parties at your home, you can just follow my video step by step. Just turn on the like my videos. Everybody can paint different things if they like. You can also paint the whole, like everybody can paint the same painting if they like, or a different painting. It's up to you. But again, you can also do a paint party with me, and yeah, I'm so glad that I am able to help other people who like to paint. And again, I love to see your painting, so please share your painting with me. And yeah, I will see you next time for another holiday painting or DIY. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.